Hey, welcome here again to another episode of How They Rolled. This is going to cover episode 14 of Together We Roll, which was part 1 and 2, which would be Let's Get Ready to Fumble, a great fighting pit episode, and Let Them Eat Cake, which had all kinds of interesting stuff. I'm your host, David Wine, who plays Eck, and we have here some of our other cast members. We've got Nathan playing Sparks. You guys know everybody by now, I'm sure. We've got but
you don't.
We've got Derek here being played by Chris, and we have Sonny being played by Mac. So, all right. So again, we got Let's Get Ready to Fumble and Let Them Eat Cake. So we're going to talk about some of those. I'm curious.
I did not agree to those names.
Hey. What is it with the disembodied voice? Yeah.
You should be planning, old DM.
Oh, I already did.
Yep.
That's what I'm worried about.
So,
it's planning for the long time.
Let's get ready to fumble. So, how did we get there, and why did we end up doing what we ended up doing? This kind of is really directed toward Derek right now, and Chris.
I don't think it worked out the way it was supposed to work out. You see, he agreed to give me the information when we came back from taking care of the cake.
Okay.
But he threw this in at the last minute, so Derek didn't know anything about that.
You're also a very terrible negotiator to begin with, so...
Yeah, the guy with the low charisma.
Derek has a high charisma, and that was not negotiable.
Wait,
all of a sudden, he was throwing him in a bed ring, and I'm going, what the heck is going on here?
High charisma of what?
What's your charisma?
What's your charisma?
I think it was about 16.
Yeah, the low charisma guy.
I'm not the DM, don't look at me.
16. That is not a low charisma. It's
No, it's not.
It's a decent charisma.
But see, I personally like to play.
I'm not going to argue with a guy that's 20 by 40 foot muscles. Who's got muscles in places that I don't even have places.
But truthfully, Hazel was itching to fight him too.
That's true. She actually commented going, "Oh, this is the time. This is the point where we get to fight him." So she was ready and itching for a fight. When it comes to charisma, you comment, Chris. I like to think, as far as DM is going, or just playing the game itself, being where you can either be a charismatic, very pretty person, or you can be a charismatic, very eloquent person in speaking. And then you can combine the two, and that's when you get like the 18, 19, 20s, where you get them both. So you might be a fairly handsome gentleman, but that doesn't mean that you're a good speaker.
Negotiator.
Yeah.
For those of you who used to play D&D years ago, there was charisma and comeliness.
Yeah. And it kind of combined together. So hence, that's where old school and the way I see it. So anyway, the old fart is this guy that also has a nickname called the Bear. So he's got multiple nicknames because apparently he's all furry. And why did he actually invite you to do a fight in the fighting pit?
He said that was a requirement for me to get the information, so my hands were tied from the beginning.
Yeah,
I needed that information. He agreed to give me that information. He renegotiated the contract at the last minute, and then, well, I need that information, so I might as well give it a shot. Mm-hmm. So, fortunately, I had 2 people in there to help me out.
Though the same way you originally went to about getting the information the first way with the negotiation, and I say negotiation because it was like, hey, go do this for me. Okay.
It worked out.
We
got money.
When you came back,
we came in poor. We left rich.
When you came back, he said the same thing, and he wanted to renegotiate. Your renegotiating was okay.
Well, the good news is the battle somehow became a draw instead of a win or a loss.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be a spoiler if you haven't watched it yet. Actually, no, it's not a spoiler because it's really amazing how that actually came to being a draw. I mean, you can't write this stuff, you know. It's like how it ended up happening. So, but there was multiple people in the pit with you because this guy wanted to take on multiple people.
Hey, if it was just Derek by himself, that wouldn't have been a fight. That would have been a slaughter.
Yeah, on who's
without me being able to use my weapons. Yeah.
Who else was in the fighting pit?
Hazel
and Sparks, who was originally planned to be in the fighting pit.
It should have been Eck.
or who was but who was Eck did raise his hand. He did raise his hand.
I wanted to,
but it wasn't high enough because he can only raise his hand up to here.
Right.
And Sparks was like,
yeah. I'm a 7-foot metal man in the city of dwarves.
I actually.
Who are you
the
gonna
cool
take?
part is
I'm gonna
Eck,
take the
Eck blends
No.
in. He blends in, and actually he thinks it's kind of cool. He's blending in. He's not actually standing out, even though he's still not the dwarven race. He is not overly taller than them. He's often about their girth, and so he actually kind of feels like he fits in, which is unusual. Although it's still too hot. It's not enough.
How tall is he?
5'2".
Okay.
So he's tall for dwarf. Dwarf standards, but not so tall that he stands out like a
not for
7 foot
Not for
middle.
the cannonball dwarf we saw in episode 2. Or part 2.
Yeah.
The cannonball dwarf we saw in part 2.
Let's not go back onto that.
no, it's not back, it's forward. It's past this part.
Yeah. No, but who also, Sonny, Mac, who else raised their hand and was planning to be in that pit?
I thought that Bruce was going to do it at one point.
Your brother Barian.
Oh, Barian wanted to do it.
Your brother Barian was in there, and then the rules that everyone agreed to was found out as no magic.
No weapons.
And no weapons. Well, you could use weapons, but they could be blunt. They had to be blunt weapons.
But Flan is magical, so it was like no magical. But then Hazel got to use her magical staff, so it was kind of like Flan could have done it.
Yeah, it was.
I think if he had gone in with Flan, I think it would have made a little bit of difference. Because Flan can hit from a distance and still wouldn't have to get so close in.
I think it would have been more interesting if we could have had the whole party go in against them.
I don't think it would have ended all that much different here.
Probably not. No,
I think
it would have been hilarious to watch everybody dogpile on this guy.
Because I would have had to have used magic, and it would have been over like that.
Well,
But
abiding by the rules, and all of us were in there. And if we were able to and truly did abide by the rules, it would have been probably still all of us on the ground.
Yes.
Eck, although if he could stay raging long enough, he'd be able to stand up. But see, he was a barbarian as well, level 20 barbarian. So no wonder.
Well, and technically, Fluffy's not magic.
Oh,
That's an ability.
true.
It's just an ability.
It's just an ability.
Very annoying for that.
So now, one of the things that this episode had was what I thought was a really cool map.
Yeah, the map was awesome.
And the map was cool, multi-level tier thing. So if you haven't seen the episode, you really got to check it out. Also, we've got I think it's a 4-minute short, something like that, maybe a 5-minute short, actually showing in detail the map. So we actually zoom in all over the place on it. So check that out under our playlists. Let's see here. So, but getting back to that map, so you guys are down. Oh, it was used real sand. It had real sand in the pit. Let's see. So Eck is up on the rail. We've got Davros up on the rail. We've got Barian and Sunny up on the rails, both sides. And we also have. I tried to throw. Eck tried to throw a chair.
But it was a good effort.
Yeah.
It broke. The top broke as I threw it. It was that bit of a chair. Tried to do the whole. This works in the in all the wrestling matches I've ever seen.
Which is one.
It's sad.
And so Davros and myself, Eck, are actually enjoying this. Actually, like it's medieval times, and we're looking at menus and stuff like this until. And chewing on turkey legs and slurping down soup until someone calls out.
I loved it. Yeah.
What'd you call out?
It's turtle soup. I loved it.
You know what?
It just came to me. Oh yeah, watch out! They're serving turtle soup.
I'm sitting there mid slurp. So I really wanted to run around and start knocking all the menus at everyone's hand, screaming, "It's a cookbook! It's a cookbook!" But that would be dating.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been copyrighted.
How many menus can knock out of it? He has his hand while we're.
It's an old movie. It's an old movie. And I can't even say.
It's not an old movie, and you can say the name of it.
Well,
it's the Twilight Zone.
Oh, it's Twilight Zone. Okay.
Yeah, it was the Twilight Zone. It's the name of the episode is How to Serve Man.
Okay, yeah. But see, I can't even recall if I've ever watched that whole episode.
I'm a geek.
But anyway, I know the little pieces.
It was a great episode.
I'm too young.
It was actually a defining episode of the series. If you watch it, it's one of the black and white ones.
So I knew something. Okay, so Hazel will be joining us shortly, and I got a question for her when she does.
Okay.
I really want to know something. I'm waiting for her to show up here. She'll be here in a moment. So we all place our bets, and Eck played both sides of the fence and bet on both sides. Let's see here. So who won?
Nobody.
It turned out to be a draw.
Yeah.
Thanks to some smart thinking from Sonny.
Can't imagine how that happened.
The guy with the high charisma.
Hey, if you can't beat them with skill, baffle them with BS.
All right.
One or the other, but not both.
Now, one thing that hasn't happened yet is you haven't got your information.
Nope, not yet.
So I imagine you'll be looking to get that.
Looking forward to seeing what happens in the next episode.
And from what I understand, the old fart said, "I want to make sure you're worthy of being delivered the information."
That was really weird because he kept goading me to give him the correct response, and I was totally, it was going right over my head trying to think, what the heck does this guy want?
I feel like
I'm telling him what my code is, but he wanted his code, and it just was not connecting. It just was not connecting at all.
There were just some viewers who were probably yelling at their screens, just, say this! Say this! You idiot! I mean, I wasn't getting it either, so I'm not...
This was our first live Twitch stream of Together We Roll, this episode that we're talking about, which was Let's Get Ready to Fumble. So anyway, that was... I agree with you. There's probably several people... we weren't watching the chat, so I wonder if there's anything coming in on the chat. So anyway, Hazel, thanks for joining us. This is Kat, by the way. Again, everybody knows everybody by now, I'm sure. But Hazel, one of the things that as we're getting ready for this battle, you turn around and starting to wager, and you start throwing out you're really happy to wage. First off, you're really happy to fight this guy. And one of the statements you said was 3 words. We're gonna win.
Yeah.
Why were you so confident that we were gonna win?
I didn't think Nick was gonna throw a level 20 at us, honestly.
You didn't look over me shaking my head, did you? Because I was like, I don't see how we're gonna win.
Never trust the DM.
Well, I mean, then, me with my 1,000 gold drop.
And also, like, I mean, at this point, the only people that Hazel's lost against is people at her own monastery. And those are absolute masters of the craft. And so, yeah, she probably got cocky. And also doesn't really have, like, along with Egg, doesn't really have a solid concept of how much money is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Never realized there the parallel there, but you were sequestered in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in a very different way. Interesting.
Just, she doesn't really need a whole lot of money.
Yeah, and Eck never was given it, period. Just what didn't exist. So, it's a new tool he's still trying to learn, and the same for you, it looks like.
Yep.
So, anyways, the battle ends in a draw. The house actually doesn't have to pay out all its bets, and so, oh my God, the arguments though of people who are wagering against one or the other, particularly for us to lose, I imagine were very upset because the money that they weren't going to get paid. So, I'm not sure we'll ever hear about that.
It sounded like the crowd was pretty pleased about
just for the show.
Yeah.
After all, they were there for entertainment anyway.
Yeah.
It's just they got something different for their entertainment.
That's
And
true.
nobody lost.
And it wasn't impromptu. It was
Nobody
an impromptu
lost.
fight. It wasn't
Right.
an impromptu
Now,
fight.
if somebody had lost, then there might have been some conflict. But everybody got their money back. Everybody was happy.
Yeah. Free
Everybody
shot.
got entertained.
So that pretty much closed us up for the episode part 1 for Let's Get Ready to Fumble. And we moved into our part 2 for the evening, which came out a week later here on YouTube. But Let Them Eat Cake, part 2. And going through this episode, obviously one of the things we did was spend a lot of time in a magic shop, a very unique magic shop. But before we actually went to the magic shop, there was a lot of amazing discoveries being shared by every single character at the table. And so if you haven't seen it, you really need to watch it, because you know, one of the things I'll do here is, you know, as hosting How They Rolled, is to go through and revisit the episodes to make sure I'm remembering the right stuff. And it was amazing to find that there was stuff about Sonny and what goes on with him. There was stuff about Flan, Ek and Ga, Sparks, Derek, Hazel, Davros. Let's cover Hazel. You mentioned about the monastery and some of the things you shared. And this wasn't just, you know, doing a brain dump to everyone at the table and those watching. It was actually done in character. We were all discussing in character. What was some of the things about you're part of the Ash Children?
Yeah.
And what does this mean to you, or what does it mean?
So the Ash Children are people that showed up at this monastery and have no memory of anything before the monastery. And so they're almost like the ideal for the monastery about the whole, I don't want to say the religion of it, because there's multiple gods there that are being worshipped, but the idea of being born anew and starting from scratch and leaving your past behind you. So Ash Children are kind of like the models for that, but no one knows who they are really. You can't just look around and be like, that's an Ash child.
Okay.
Because you're not supposed to talk about your past anyways.
Now, being particularly a special type of student or acolyte or whatever you might want to call it, these Ash Children, you're not there at the monastery anymore, and this is how come again?
Hazel has been sent out to go learn about the world, and so part of it's a chance for her to actually learn about herself. But she was told to and made to by one of the higher ups at the monastery, and Hazel doesn't really know why her. Particularly because like she was for fighting. She wasn't one of the ones that were like she was the way of the claw, not oh god, there's a wing and there's another thing too. Sorry, Nick.
You'll have to look at your notes.
Yeah, I have everything in my notes because I don't remember shit on my own.
And you have a medallion that
Yeah.
apparently was identified by Sonny, because he learned a new spell of being able to identify from leveling up, and also a ritual of detect magic.
Yes.
And so found out several things, including a magical sword that Davros has that makes sense because it was made out of obsidian. And again, if you haven't seen a picture of it, check the end of our episodes of Together We Roll, because we do full picture art covers of all our cast instead of in the intros, which we're doing close-ups of the headshots. So it'll get the full body shots, and then you'll see everything right down to their feet and all the other accoutrements that they're carrying or wearing or using. And you'll see that blade, and you think obsidian. And it's what I thought as well as a player. I thought obsidian is. That's going to break. You can't have an obsidian sword. But you know, Ek isn't going to question it because Ek doesn't know.
Yeah.
But I thought it was brilliant that it was determined that it was magically enhanced on purpose so that it wouldn't break, as part of a ritual element that was imbued upon that blade from Davros's people. He also got this incredible letter. Again, I'm not sure if Davros is going to make it before we're done filming tonight. He will be here for tonight, Together We Roll.
Yeah.
But for tonight's How They Rolled. So I'm going to cover him real quick here. He got a letter from home. Now again, none of us could be there when he was reading this, but we could be there because you were there. Hilarious to read. And
No, he ended up reading it out loud.
he ended up sharing some of the pieces. Yeah, he did. That's right. He did. He did come back down to us. One of the things that he mentioned was about a religious artifact called the Ocean's Floor. So a little piece of interesting trivia there about this artifact that can control oceans, apparently. And so I have a feeling we might be hearing a little more of that as we move on.
I wonder where that could be.
Probably on the ocean floor.
I think all of our characters should start learning how to swim.
That's going to be very difficult for me.
I think I have the Cloak of the Manta Ray for that, actually.
Oh,
I might see that from you. Because
really?
I actually probably really need that.
I got it really early on. Somebody didn't want it. I was like, yeah.
You know,
I'll
because
take
last
it.
thing we want to do is rename Sparks to Anchor. Just put a chain on him. Jump overboard.
If somebody's messing around with the ocean, we might need an anchor to stay put.
We're not near the ocean right now, but I have a feeling, I have a feeling with two characters' affiliation with the ocean, ultimately I have a feeling we're going to end up being there. So,
hey, we get drenched on the first episode. We're walking through lava a couple more episodes down, so why not salt water, right?
yeah.
Whatever happened to Forrest?
I'm just rusting here. I'm just rusting so much. My armor is getting terrible right now. I feel like there's just that one point where we're going to be going towards somewhere underwater where the whole group is underwater, and you have the 3 people who are actually attuned to the water, or at least we have 2 people, which is Davros and Ek.
You're forgetting about God.
I don't know if God's going to be with us at that point. But just that scenario where I'm sitting there wanting to get into water, just on the sea floor, and he's just swimming around. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go scout ahead. He goes off.
And you look like one of those guys, diving guys, but without the, because you're moving that slow.
And he comes back.
You better get some good rolls once we're.
It's funny. We're talking about being underwater when we're still in a freaking volcano. But
it's because we're hopeful.
Just
yeah, I know.
Things to come.
So Sparks, we learned we were reminded that you have no papers and that you're looking to get some papers that prove that you won't go out, that you're not running around out on a killing spree.
But there is somebody here that can help you out.
Which is, yes, that's why I'm going to go find Warforged, who apparently is.
That's right.
That's right.
In
So we've got
the dirty palm or something.
Right. And then, so you want to collect the piece of information that you've been owed.
That I need to
and
find.
you want to
Swirl
go
as
talk to
ours.
this Warforged, which is really unusual.
It's gonna help
I
out.
want to see what this guy looks like because it'd be interesting.
Well, I think the information would help us out as far as, if he needs to get fixed or repaired or whatever.
I know that already. I haven't revealed that, but I know that I definitely need to.
We also learned that Ek and Ga are well, it was kind of known already, I suppose, but that we're being hunted by a powerful organization called the Marquette because we've escaped from their captivity. Ek was like, no, or it's that we might be, and then there's Ga. Yeah, we are. Sunny, we found out Sunny was
From the dark side.
the son of the god of death.
Goddess? Death?
God, I heard God.
God. Isn't it? I thought death was female.
So, anyway, the tons of great information came up from a lot of interesting hooks here of the characters, and it wasn't. I thought it was really neat to me how it was just it flowed, and we didn't have to just regurgitate content. It was just coming out, and so it was really neat to see all that backstory stuff come to life without actually forcing it. But soon thereafter, we went over to this magic shop. Do you remember what the name of the magic shop was?
I'm sure it's in my notes.
Same.
The Staves and
Stoves.
Stoves.
Staves and stuff.
Staves and Stoves.
I know what the sign looked like.
And one of the coolest freaking magic shop ever.
It was a giant dwarf taking out of the bite of a chocolate bar.
That's right, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Very creative idea.
It was almost like
never see that.
and it wasn't, but you can imagine the 1930s animated light up neon signs, kink 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 kink, and as the chunks being bitten out, the chocolate kind of thing. But
It's very.
bzz, 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 as it's going through and lighting up. But anyway, this cool guy. And what did you guys? What did we find there? What did you guys find there?
Whole mess of magic items.
The best magic shop I could have possibly thought of, but didn't.
So
That's
why was it the best? Come on, guys.
I've never seen anybody come up with the idea of actually adding food to magical potions.
Or literally
As an
cooking
alternate.
magical
Right.
items.
Yeah.
As in, he took the item that Sunny needs, but threw it into a pressure cooker. And is cooking, he's literally cooking the magic into it.
And cakes and pastries and
He pulled scrolls out of the oven.
Parts.
He pulled scrolls out of the oven.
imagine.
Well, they were
Just
ready.
doing a roll, you know. Those
Just
are
rolling out
flowers.
parchment.
So
Very
really
creative.
cool magic time, very creative.
Very creative.
Boy, we spent some time in there, and it was
We cleaned
just
up
utterly fascinating.
half the
I think
shop.
we bought out half
we
of this
bought
magic
half of that
Yes,
shop.
at least half.
So I'll take this. How many have of these? I'll take all those.
And we got
How many of these you got?
cupcakes of healing or something.
Strawberry
like that.
tarts.
Strawberry tarts of. And speaking of tarts, there was the cupcake that Eck was extremely
Hungry for.
hungry for. Well, there's two things. There was one was the cake.
Yeah.
It was the turtle princess cake, which you.
That was
He
gonna be
doubled.
someone's wedding cake.
Yeah, the fool man gave me the cake. It was like, there's no way it's this close to my mouth and he's not going to eat it.
We were spending so much money. Yeah, the guy was gonna sadly
Okay,
give
don't
it to
worry
us,
about
but
it.
that doesn't mean you
Dennis has
take
been
it.
locked out.
Good, we can switch out. You can ask some of your questions.
He's gonna try to enter stealthily.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, that's how we did it. So
And
we
that would
can't-
be a nat one.
Yeah, no, the DC check on that was 30.
I did not roll that.
So you couldn't, we locked the door so he couldn't get in and raise the DC check. So, anyway, oh yeah, so Eck eats the whole princess cake, and then he has this affinity for what is this other cake he's got?
Carrot cake?
It's carrot cake?
Pretty sure it's carrot cake.
You mean the little tiny carrot
Yeah.
cake?
I think it was carrot cake.
It
Okay.
was a cake that had like 1 carat of gold in it or something. I don't know. I don't think so.
Come on, the cupcake of love.
The love cake.
Honestly.
That's right.
And he won't sell it to us? He won't sell it to us?
That's right. It needs to be given to somebody who's married who needs to ask for forgiveness. Otherwise, it could be construed as being used for devious purposes.
That's still a devious purpose.
Well,
Isn't there something-
if somebody needs to ask for forgiveness, then you need a little helping hand. That would
No,
probably
Yes.
no. There's plenty of other ways than drugging your significant other.
Thank you. Isn't there something
If
against that in
anything,
the world
they'd
of
be
magic?
more pissed off afterwards.
Isn't there something against that in the world of magic? Like, you hear about any genie, that's one thing they can't do is make someone fall in love with you?
Yeah, but that's wishes. This is
In
a
general,
concoction.
make
This is a
someone-
concoction.
to
A
make
fake
someone-
concoction.
It's not that it's actual love, it's that it's
To make someone fall in
it's
love
a
with
fabricated, like, fake love.
you. It's to make...
It's an infatuation, not love.
It's like the difference between cherry and the artificial cherry that everyone knows and hates.
Okay.
Well,
Interesting analogy, but okay.
it was still an interesting side note to
I
the
feel,
shop.
I feel like there's something very, very unlawfully correct or incorrect about this whole situation with you and the love potion.
But anyway, Eck didn't get it. Apparently, the shopkeep has morality to not let someone like Eck
Good.
have its possession.
Because you would eat it most likely for your own gains.
Who
Why?
knows?
I don't know.
I have no clue
So he
what
could love
mission-
The thing is
himself.
that
So he could fall in love with himself.
Doesn't he do that
So he
already?
could appreciate himself, yes.
the thing is that like who would be the first person he sees?
Watch it just be me.
It'd probably be someone
We
in the
could
group.
roll a die. We could roll a die for that to find out.
No,
How
let's
many
not.
people
Let's
are
not.
there in the
happy
group?
victim.
Can we just not entertain this at all, please? This is not a good combo. It's not a good
Roll a
combo.
d8.
That's right.
Well, all right. So there's two places we talked about probably investigating going already, and when we start the next episode here shortly, and that's going to be checking in with the bear to actually get the information that you're out there,
for the lost
checking and
girls,
finding this other
the guy that can help him out.
The Warforged.
the other Warforged.
The other Warforged, yeah. That's my
who,
priority.
who can give him some insights about who he is. But then there's also the one thing that was at the end of episode 13, which was, I'm trying to remember the name of that episode, it's part 2, where we collected all our monies over at the Big Heart Trust, and there was that offering to go visit this home and be paid stipend to go visit it. We haven't gone to that home yet.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling we might want to go check that out too.
And Derek would like to try to get our paperwork back from that guy.
So lots of
Don't
things.
get your hopes up.
Now, one last question here.
That'd be an interesting puzzle.
What is your feelings about being in Gurdun, this dwarven city, even though it's in a volcano and so forth? What do you like it? Do you hate it?
There's a lot of worse places I can think of. I don't mind being there.
Hazel doesn't like the city, but like there's cool things there, like the magic shop. That is the coolest fucking magic shop I've ever been to in any game ever.
I agree. I was just, yeah, it's like, oh, it's a shopping episode. Oh my god, it was such a great shopping episode.
Yeah, but it's a cool shopping episode. So sorry, guys.
So shopping episodes are not actually boring. In fact.
But Hazel needs the sky. She needs stars and to be traveling and moving. Just being stuck underground in a volcano is not great for her.
Overtop the destroyed remains of 2 other cities.
I haven't forgotten about that.
But besides that,
Which look
how do you
fairly
really
recent,
feel
right?
about the place?
Hazel's gonna whack you over the head and drag you out of the city.
Eck likes the fact that he's being... Eck likes the fact that he's being... that he's able to blend in and so forth, and he finds the people to be sociable and likable and so forth, but doesn't like the atmosphere. It's too dry, it's too steamy, it's too you know, there's not enough green, it doesn't feel like home to him. So, you know, I'm not sure if he's going to want to be a place that he stays. Now, once you find Derek, once you find about this... the information
where this dungeon is, yes.
Yeah. Wasn't there a hook or somewhere where we were talking about going to a large city?
A large city? I'm not sure.
North of where we're at?
There had briefly been talk about going to the capital, but that's kind of a bad idea for most
dangerous,
of us.
yes.
Good.
I need to get my papers back before I go there.
Cool. So, who knows where we'll end up? This is going to be interesting.
Branching paths.
Yep. So, anyway, thanks for watching us today here and catching up on episode 14 of Together We Roll. Please check out the episodes because there's no way we can cover all the fun, hilarious, and interesting things that happen in each. Also, don't forget, please click subscribe if you haven't already. We've got a lot of watchers out there, and actually a large portion of them that are watching are not subscribed. And so show the love. Just click the red button. And also look for us on Facebook and Twitter at Together We Roll, and follow us there so that we can, because that's where we'll be able to send our content. You get updates and things like that. You'll get to see the stuff that's coming, you know, that you can expect on the channel here. And lastly, please go out to Twitch and follow us there as well so that you can get information when there's live stream content going on. All right. That's all for now, and catch us on the next episode of How They Rolled, or the very next episode of Together We Roll. Thanks again. Keep on rolling.
Bye.
I meant recording next time.
No, despacito, hazlo rápido.
See,
Hey, I just came from there.
vámonos.
Vámonos. Ándale, arriba.
Fix it. Fix it.
You've got a mean glare
Oh, I do? It's too bright?
on your forehead. Like,
Ooh, shit.
No, too little. Too.
No.
you're like,
No, too, no,
yeah, you're
no.
just like,
You know what? You try and do this with your left hand upside down backwards.
that's what she said. And then I came.
That's going on the second reel.
And then I came and it was all over. All right.
Okay, so
How we
back in
doing?
place.
How we doing? Likewise.
Higher.
You're right.
Just a little bit. Too much.
No, too much.
Right there.
Okay.
Stop. Let it go.
Let it go.
Sit back. Don't move.
Let it go.
Guys, am I better?
Well, I mean, you're you.
Yes.
Well, okay.
But
Am
you're
I
not
as good as
glaring.
am I as good as I'm gonna get?
Yes,
Well,
sure,
if you
let's
sat
do
up,
that.
if you square your shoulders, because you're kind of leaning.
That's right.
You're doing this thing.
Well, you
Hold on, wait.
I have-
Here we are.
Sorry.
There we are.
Look at him running. Like, look at the front of his feet. It's like he took ballet.
An important news bulletin has just come in.
Not live. Live with the recording. Not live recording.
Well, that's it.
Everything is semantics.
My
Okay.
girlfriend was from that.
Ah, critical fail.
No, critical fail would have like gone down his throat and he'd choke.
That was this by one.
That was like, I almost got it. No, that's where you go. It wasn't constitution, it was dexterity. It's like, oh.
I told you I'm not back up to 100%.
All right, are we gonna get started yet?
Yes. Let's go.
We're waiting
Okay.
on
Shut up, Flan. Hey.
Flan's mad. Flan is mad.
Oh, he wants to say
Turtle
something
soup
so bad. Oh, I missed it. What did he say?
Turtle soup tonight.
Hey, just because it's in here. All right.
You know what we should do now? We should just switch places. And just go out and maybe just shuffle. We'll just shuffle down one. That works. What? We're going to shuffle? Okay.
See if you notice.
We're still recording, by the way. It's okay.
Why did you switch?
What? This is for the next
yourself back. Come on.
No, I'm fine.
Don't.
No, I'm fine.
We were doing an edit anyway, right?
Yeah, but
Now you can tell where the edit is.
no. Put yourself back, please.
Nice try.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
Hop.
All right.
Yeah, talk about a hard edit. Yes. And now we're going to do some teleportation.